Thank you, Your Honor. We're present in case State of Ohio versus Dana E. Vance, case number 25 CR 110. The defendant is present today in court represented by attorney Pat Quinn. We were previously in court May 29th. The defendant pled guilty to count 1 OVI in violation of 4511.19A1A, a felony of the 3rd degree. This matter was referred for a pre-sentence report and a psych evaluation, and we're set for sentencing here today. Thank you.
Mr. Quinn.
Yes, Your Honor. May I speak in mitigation here? Judge, Dana's had a hard life. Lots of people do, but she chose to go to alcohol and drugs to try to make her feel better about all these bad things that she's been through. That's changed. She is now living at Joe's sober house in Lyndhurst, Ohio. She attends lots of AA meetings a week, has a sponsor, and she's working the steps. She also attends the REACH program for rehabilitation counseling, and she gets help from Signature Health for PTSD and ADHD and other issues she has, including peer support and Thrive. She hasn't tested positive for anything since this case has started, Your Honor. I've seen a big difference in her. She is really trying. She wants a better life, and she knows this is her last chance. And I think she's going to make every effort she can to try to rehabilitate herself and live a normal, healthy, alcohol and drug-free life. We would ask that you consider a minimum sentence, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Vance, what do you want to tell me?
Am I allowed to speak with what I wrote?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I would like to apologize to you, Your Honor, the courts, and the prosecutor, and to myself and to the community. I realized this past year that I have untreated alcoholism, which led to my poor decision making and getting in trouble throughout my life due to people pleasing, the need to fit in, and most importantly, becoming a victim of abuse and neglect. I also learned through the many programs I have attended this past year and a half that ACEs, which is Adverse Childhood Experiences, contributed to my alcoholism as well. I started PTSD EMDR therapy last May, beginning of June, after being on the waiting list for years. AA, Sober Support, Thrive Peer Support, Sober Living, and recently started IOP, which provides a structured environment, which allowed me to do the very hard work to better myself and work on me. I am still in IOP, and with aftercare, I have about 2 months to complete this program, which I am asking to complete this program, Your Honor. These programs are how I gained the courage to leave a very violently abusive relationship. I am done allowing myself to be a victim of abuse. These circumstances and continuously learning how to set healthy boundaries today. I started repairing my credit from that abusive relationship at which he stole my identity and took out loans in my name. If I had not realized I had untreated alcoholism after this happened last year, I would have not been able to do any of these things at all. I have been given the opportunity to move into a sober living home in Willoughby. After today, I'm supposed to call her after court. This is a place I've been waiting to get into for 3 or 4 months. I've been on the waiting list for this place for a long time as well. I would really like to continue to do all my current treatment and the hard work that I have been investing in myself. For the first time in my entire life, I like the progress I've been making towards my future life and my recovery. I love my meetings, my counseling, and the IOP group I'm currently attending. I would really like to ask you, Your Honor, for your consideration to continue this process. This is life or death for me, and I am pleading to you, Your Honor, towards my future and to allow me to keep doing this hard work that I have been doing and applying to my life and recovery. Again, it has taken me a year to get where I am today. This process and progress I have made started even before I knew about this charge ever coming into existence. Also at this time, I am in medical treatment for various health conditions that I have. My PTSD therapy has the potential of suffering if it is disrupted. Also, I have been working on my credit and loans and financial obligations to gain stability in my life. I care about my life today, and this is absolutely serious for me. Before, in the past, I was unaware of my substance use disorder and was not treating my alcoholism. I believe it was a lack of communication with my attorney, and I really wanted him to take this in consideration, this progress I've been making throughout my recovery. I am aware of the consequences that I've suffered in the past and potentially going to suffer again. I feel that all the effort and hard work I've put forth to better myself this past year has been a very big accomplishment in my life. I'm pleading with you to please allow me to finish IOP, continue with PTSD counseling, and go to sober living and continue my recovery. All of my consequences are due to untreated alcoholism, but this year I have made tremendous strides with my recovery. I would do every bit of jail or prison time that would be placed as the conditions if I fail again. Failing is not an option anymore because it could end up being the death sentence in my life. None of these issues is an excuse for my actions either. I'm just not that person who self-medicates to cope with trauma and abuse anymore. Today I have my Thrive peer support with me, who has been a witness to my progress these last several months. Is there any way I could get house arrest and still be able to finish IOP, my recovery, my PTSD therapy, counseling work, my medical treatments, while still being able to go to probation and random drug screens? I also have an interview for the Sober Living Home in Willoughby on July 14th as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Wood?
Thank you, Your Honor. On behalf of the state, my recommendation is for 2 years in prison. This was a case that occurred at around 6 p.m. driving down Menor Avenue. The defendant was all over the road. An off-duty officer called in the erratic driving that he had observed before the Menor officers located the defendant's vehicle and conducted their investigation. She endangered not only the safety of herself, but all the other motorists on the road at the time. Thankfully, she did not cause any car crashes or cause physical harm to anybody else on the road. She has a history of criminal convictions. There has been a rehabilitation failure. She was on community control before, and she violated in the past, and she has a prior prison number. She has a prior felony OVI from this court, and she was given an opportunity for community control. The defendant has demonstrated that she has substance abuse issues. She stated that it was untreated. However, when she was placed on community control in the past, she was ordered to complete the jail treatment program and continue with counseling at Signature Health. So the state's recommendation is for 2 years in prison. There's a mandatory fine of $1,540 up to $10,500, as well as a mandatory driver's license suspension of 3 years to life and mandatory drug and alcohol counseling. And at this time, the state would dismiss the remaining counts in the indictment. Thank you.
All right, there is a mandatory, at a very minimum, a mandatory prison sentence of 60 days in this case, up to 5 years, as Ms. Wood has indicated, and they're recommending 2 years. I'm going to suspend your license for 3 years, retroactive to June 24th of 2024, and impose a mandatory fine of $1,540. I've reviewed the pre-sentence report and the evaluation from Lake Geauga, and I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. You're going to serve 60 days in prison as the mandatory minimum sentence on this case. I'll place you on community control for 5 years. You're to have no drugs or alcohol, and you'll be subject to screens. You're going to, if you have started the drug and alcohol intensive outpatient program, you're going to finish that. If you haven't started it yet, you're going to enter into that, complete it, and follow all recommendations. You're going to continue your mental health treatment through Signature Health.
Yes.
You will continue your mental health treatment through Signature Health and follow all recommendations. You're to attend at least 5 AA meetings a week and obtain a sponsor, obtain employment, Are you receiving Social Security disability right now?
Yes, but I
Right.
still was working.
Okay,
and-
so you have limited employment with that, correct?
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
so continue employment. You are not going to be able to get a license for a couple of years, but when you are eligible, you're to get a valid driver's license. Besides do you get medication through Signature?
And Cleveland Clinic
All
and
right.
other, and, university.
All right, so how many different doctors do you go to right now? Medical doctors?
4 or 5.
All right.
6.
So you're to see only your current doctors that you see, and only one dentist and one pharmacy for any prescription medication. Take your medication as it's prescribed. Sign releases for probation. If you need to go to any additional doctors, you need to inform your probation officer so we know where you're going. And you're going to pay the cost and supervision fees with this case. Anything else, Ms. Randazzo?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Do you understand all the terms?
Yes, I was just confused because I did start IOP, but I have not finished.
All right,
I
well,
didn't
then
know.
when you have to do this 60 days in prison and then go back to it and finish it. You understand? Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, if you fail to comply and they find you have violated the terms, you face up to 60 months in prison. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
The remaining charges are dismissed. Anything else, Ms. Wood?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Quinn?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you. We're going right now for 60 days.
Okay.
Okay, and then when you get out,